No one saw this coming. Not Toyota, not BMW, not even Tesla's own board. But 5 minutes ago, the balance of power in the automotive world shifted permanently. Behind closed doors, at what was expected to be a routine investor briefing, a prototype vehicle was quietly introduced. There was no charge port, no battery pack, no combustion engine. Its only fuel source was water. At first, the announcement seemed implausible. Speculation erupted. Skeptics assumed it was a proof of concept, an engineering stunt. But then the machine was activated. It moved under its own power. No visible exhaust, no sound, just seamless acceleration, 0 to 60 in under 4 seconds. And it didn't consume a single drop of gasoline or electricity. Tesla had done the unthinkable. Elon Musk addressed the audience with a brief but startling confirmation. This is Drive. Developed in complete secrecy since 2018, it doesn't store power. It generates it. Within minutes, global markets began to react. Tesla's valuations surged. Trading was temporarily halted. Energy analysts scrambled to interpret a future in which electric vehicles charged from the grid might already be outdated. Because Drive isn't a battery, it's a real-time hydrogen generation system powered entirely by water. So before the oil giants bury this, before lobbyists throw the first punch, like, subscribe, share. At its core is a graphene ceramic ultrasonicator, vibrating at over 22.0 cycles per second. This device breaks down water molecules inside a sealed chamber, extracting hydrogen as needed and feeding it directly into a microbial combustion unit. There's no storage, no compression, no external infrastructure. The vehicle carries a modest 40L tank filled with distilled water. The system requires no special refueling procedure, just clean water from any safe source. Rainwater, filtered seawater, even tap water in emergencies. The result, over 820 kilometers of range per fill. Refueling time less than 90 seconds. Top speed 189 kilometers per hour, limited only by software. The exhaust, nothing but steam. Efficiency, over 90%, thanks to a recirculated oxygen loop that pushes combustion output beyond anything seen in battery or fuel cell technology. And perhaps most disruptive of all, operating cost, just 0.7 cents per mile. Drive isn't a marginal improvement. It's a total reinvention. It doesn't rely on superchargers. It doesn't depend on the electrical grid. It requires no lithium, no cobalt, no rare earth metals. And with one stroke, it undermines the industrial foundation of the global EV movement. The implications were immediate. Executives at competing automakers candled press appearances. Hydrogen lobbyists launched emergency PR briefings. Investment in lithium extraction saw an instant slowdown. Patent filings connected to Tesla spiked by the hour. Because Drive doesn't just disrupt technology, it disrupts power. Geopolitical, economic, and environmental. Entire supply chains are now in question. Charging infrastructure may soon be irrelevant. And the decades-long race for battery supremacy just lost its finish line. Musk's closing words weren't boastful. They were chilling in their simplicity. This isn't the end of electric, but it might be the beginning of something better. Drive doesn't ask the world to choose between gas or electric. It replaces the question altogether. A vehicle powered by water, fueled by vibration, generating its own energy on the move. Not a dream, not a prototype, but a fully functional system that already exists and now threatens to upend every blueprint in the transportation industry. This moment may be remembered as the day the future was rewritten again, and this time, it wasn't about batteries. It was about water. The problem? No one told the battery kings their throne was gone. They thought they were ahead of the curve. Solid-state batteries, AI-optimized charging stations, lithium supply chains locked down for decades. Tesla was building the future on a battery pack. But behind closed doors, that future was starting to unravel. Not in test labs, but in boardrooms, where margins were shrinking and forecasts no longer made sense. Every breakthrough in battery chemistry hit the same limits: cost, scale, and geopolitical volatility. The real turning point came from a startup almost no one remembered, buried deep in Tel Aviv, acquired without fanfare in 2021. There was no press release, no public announcement from leadership, just a discreet acquisition buried in corporate records. Hydronova Systems Limited had originally developed compact water processing technology for marine applications. Their core innovation was an efficient method for on-demand hydrogen generation. Technical teams were reassigned to evaluate the technology. The findings showed significant improvements in energy efficiency and thermal management, while eliminating dependence on controversial materials. The strategic implications became clear. This represented independence from constrained supply chains and geopolitical tensions surrounding critical resources. Internal assessments identified vulnerabilities in current energy storage approaches, with projections showing slowing adoption rates due to infrastructure limitations rather than technological barriers. The decision was made to proceed with a controlled demonstration of capabilities. The response from established industry players was swift. Legal challenges emerged from multiple sectors citing broad concerns about market stability. Communications between industry groups referenced strategies to slow adoption. An incident occurred involving a key technical team member, though no definitive conclusions were reached. Competing manufacturers began examining similar technologies, while digital security teams detected increased probing of systems. The timeline for public introduction was moved forward significantly. Market reactions were immediate and severe. Several electric vehicle manufacturers saw dramatic valuation drops and production adjustments. Traditional automakers paused rollout plans. A major battery supplier indicated they would pursue technology-neutral strategies. One automaker acknowledged parallel development efforts in alternative propulsion systems. Infrastructure projects across multiple countries were delayed or canceled. The impact extended to consumer behavior, with dealerships reporting decreased interest in current electric models and manufacturers implementing aggressive pricing strategies. The industry-wide reassessment reflected fundamental questions about the future of transportation technology. Online resale platforms saw a surge. Listings jumped 19%, as anxious owners rushed to offload battery-dependent vehicles they feared had become obsolete overnight. Social media erupted. Forums flooded with questions. Should I cancel my Model Y delivery? Is it worth waiting for the water-powered cars? Even Tesla's most devoted customers hesitated, uncertain whether their investments were already outdated. For many, the allure of a propulsion system promising near-zero fuel costs, no range anxiety, and rapid refueling upended years of loyalty and planning. Insurance companies adjusted risk models on the fly, lowering premiums for Aqua-Drive-enabled vehicles while hiking costs for older EVs. Fleet operators paused orders, reevaluating their entire procurement strategies. For the first time since the E5 revolution began, the question wasn't, when will the future arrive? It was, has it already arrived? And did I miss it? And that quiet panic multiplied across millions hit the global economy like a tectonic jolt. The markets opened in chaos. Within the first 47 minutes of trading, Saudi Aramco lost $29 billion, its sharpest single-day plunge since the 2020 oil collapse. Analysts on Bloomberg fell silent mid-broadcast, uncertain whether to label it a crash or a transformation. But in Oslo, something even stranger occurred. Norway abruptly suspended its National Lithium Reserve Initiative, a strategy once compared to the North Sea oil bonanza. Their sovereign wealth fund reallocated billions into desalination tech, citing emerging propulsion requirements. India, once trailing in the EV arms race, suddenly flipped the board. Parliament fast-tracked a bold hydrogen combustion tax credit, not just to catch up with Tesla, but to leapfrog it entirely. The bill passed in under 48 hours. Then came the G7 Energy Summit. Japan took the floor first. No mention of battery power, no debates about EV quotas. Instead, they unveiled the Water Mobility Framework, urging regulators worldwide to rewrite vehicle classes and emissions laws before Musk's invention made them irrelevant. And then, quietly, Russia released a single-line press memo. The Ministry of Defense is now fully engaged in the study of water-based propulsion for military transport. No elaboration, no press conference, just a cold signal. The arms race had officially begun. But while world powers scrambled to reposition their economies, the EV industry itself began to unravel. Over 50 zero-charging station projects across North America were suddenly frozen, scrapped, or quietly shelved. Local officials cited strategic ambiguity. Private capital gone without a trace. California's grid planners, once boasting a decade-long EV energy strategy, abandoned the model. Emergency funds were redirected into municipal water systems and mobile purification hubs. No fanfare, just hidden line items deep within public budget portals. Tesla, already 5 steps ahead, made its next move. The entire supercharger division dissolved, reborn as Tesla Hydra Systems. Their first commercial product, mobile desalination pods, with integrated hydrogen refueling capability deployable anywhere on Earth. The ripple effects were brutal. EV battery recycling firms went into freefall. Q3 forecasts slashed by 22%. Contracts were frozen. Warehouses filled with lithium packs that nobody needed anymore. Meanwhile, gas station giants began quietly defecting. Shell, Chevron, even BP launched pilot water hub programs across 3 continents. Each hub could purify, compress, and dispense hydrogen in under 6 minutes. The engine is running, but the journey has only just begun. You've seen the future. Now don't just watch it unfold. Own the moment. Like, share, and subscribe to stay ahead of the noise. Drop a comment. Do you think this changes everything, or will they bury it before it begins? Because what happens next isn't just about cars. It's about who controls power itself.